A journalist covering masculinity says that it is time for a cultural shift. In a piece for the Globe and Mail, he writes that research shows close male friendships fade when boys become men. And a big part of that is because men are afraid to show vulnerability. So what type of culture shift do we think we need when it comes to male friendships? What do you think, Brooklyn?
I think we need to teach our boys about vulnerability and how to share their feelings with other boys and just be okay having emotions and feelings. And I think teaching them how to communicate that, I think that's the big thing here. And I think that'll kind of carry on through their lives, because like what you learn as a child just stays with you, like the trauma of like being told, don't cry, or that stays with you your whole life. So I think if you raise boys to be better men, boys to men.
Boys to men.
Boys to men, yeah. I think that would make a big difference. Also get some gay friends.
I was gonna say.
They'll communicate with you.
Yes. I love that idea. I'm raising a boy, he's 12 and a half, and I feel like we've been trying our best. My partner is very much in touch with his emotions, but this keeps me up at night a lot, because we're older parents, he's an only child. His dad, my partner, he is an only child as well, so there's not a lot of extended family, so all that he's gonna have at some point are gonna be his relationships with people. And so I think about this all the time. I'm constantly saying to, have your friend over, do this with your friends. The thing is like, he right now kind of is like, pump the brakes, like I'm okay. But I'm worried about it. And I feel, I'll be honest, I feel a little bit guilty. I just wanna kind of, because if I was, I don't mean to gender this, but if he was a girl, I don't think I would worry as much, because girls tend to just be naturally socialized or like socialized, because we've done everything sort of genderless, but he still doesn't seem to have, I don't know why.
Because it's other boys too.
It's other boys, exactly.
The stats are sobering. 63% of Canadian young men say that they are lonely. 73% represent opioid deaths, and 3 out of 4 suicides. So, like, this is not something that we can deny is actually happening, but it's a bit tricky for me to fully appreciate, because my male friends and family members seem to be so healthy in this regard. I'm not denying that it's happening, but it's like, what are the men in my life doing so differently?
Yeah, this is a generational thing as well, because all the men that I know, whether I'm related to them or friends or ex-boyfriends, they always have a healthy group of friends that they've had since childhood. So when I hear this, I'm like, that's just the opposite of what I'm seeing. But I will say this, my dad was a very social person. He had a soccer organization. We had people at our house every Sunday. But when he got sick and got older, those friends were hard to find. They were not coming around. So I felt like the men were okay with each other when it's like, yeah, let's get together, let's socialize. But when you actually need them and you're gonna be more vulnerable, they did not know how to handle that. So that was very interesting. So you're right, the vulnerability and having those conversations and knowing how to communicate can help them. Even if they are socializing, what kind of socializing are they doing? Are they actually opening up when they're with each other about what's going on in their lives? Right?
And that's a really hard thing, because we in our culture have done such a good job of raising empowered girls. So we've decided that, femininity is great, but we've asked our girls to lean into, more masculine realms. We have not asked our boys to lean into more feminine realms. And when I say, I'm using the term masculine and feminine, but I'm not attaching it to gender at all. What I am seeing is Professor Scott Galloway, who's got a great podcast, if anybody knows him. He's just written, you know him? He just wrote a book about this. And he says we are creating a new gender of asexual, isolated boys and men. And he said why that's happening, there's many reasons. And one of the things he points to is the proliferation, particularly in the States, of young, white, male shooters. And that is the extreme, extreme case of boys who are isolated, don't have friends, are not encouraged to be vulnerable and share their emotions. The end result, which that's never going to be
This is not helping me sleep at night.
What's the difference? I'll tell you what the difference is. Because you just said it. He's got a great role model in Jason. Jason is emulating all of those beautiful characteristics. Jaya is going to be perfectly fine, right? He's going to be perfect.
Yeah, he is.
So I just think we don't talk about it enough on this show, because we're like, girl power. But we want our boys to also lean into softness. And I think that's something
great point.
bigger than this panel.
Yeah.
That's bigger than this panel.